I'm back. All right. Hello, beautiful people. I'm back with another reaction. And today I figured I would do just a fun video. This video is from Bora City magazine. It's ranking late night talk show hosts only, like solely by their BTS interactions only. So this does not include anything else. Yeah, I did have to take a impromptu 3-week break. I did not expect to be gone that long. I did take a week off for my birthday, and then things got a little behind at work, so I had to catch up on some stuff at work, and I missed another week. And then Hurricane Idalia hit, I think last week in my area, and I'm praying for everyone's family, anyone who has been affected by that hurricane. Please be on the lookout for another hurricane that is coming. I believe now Hurricane Lee is its name. So please be on the lookout for that. But just, I think I ended up losing power for a little bit, so I did not get a chance to film that week. That's why I had to take that week off. But I am back, and we're just gonna have, I think, a fun video. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do like a little fun video, and then, after that, we'll get back to some voice teacher reactions. I'll probably start uploading on Patreon again, hopefully, because I do have some other reactions that I want to do. But I know because of reasons they might end up getting blocked. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video here about ranking the BTS talk show host by Bora City magazine.
I'm not a late show host person, but I am definitely a BTS person. So I thought it could be fun to judge these late night show hosts only by their interactions with BTS. I don't really know much about them outside of these interactions, so this won't be a fair ranking. This is just for fun.
Explain what hooked up means, come on.
Not a late night show host, but I want to put Ellen as an honorable mention for last place because she made weird questions and prioritized her jokes instead of making BTS comfortable.
I feel like I don't even think that should be a honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mention. She just needs to be last, just dead last. Like, okay, asking them like, oh, like, have they ever hooked up with ARMY? Like, it's not an abnormal question for Ellen. She asked that before, right? It's when he gets, or when I guess Namjoon, because Namjoon was the one answering the questions, he gets visibly uncomfortable. And she still pesters about it. However, I love RM's like gotcha moment. I love his little like gotcha, because if you notice, any other time, I think after the initial meeting that they had like an interaction with Ellen, RM will always bring up that whole hooked up thing. I think they came back after this once and he was like, oh yeah, thanks to you. Everybody knows what hooked up means. And then I think they were on the red carpet one time, and it wasn't Ellen. I think it was Kaylin Allen, and RM just goes, "Yeah, thanks to you." Like I think it was something like Korean people learned a whole new term, and I'm like, RM's level of petty is the petty that I aspire to be, and I think I'm gonna see if I can like post the clips in here too. No, that was funny. So yeah, but that's not a I'm gonna call her a dishonorable mention. But you just dead last. Like, you're just dead last.
The guys didn't go back to her show for a reason, and that's all I'm going to say.
BTS is very, very popular, and we want to have some fun with that.
In the actual last place is Jimmy Kimmel. When BTS went to his show in 2017, there wasn't any direct interaction. They only had a mini concert outside the studio. Now, I don't really know Jimmy Kimmel, but judging him only by his interactions with BTS, I can say I don't like him. First, I didn't love that prank he made where he had the mothers of fans meet BTS. It could have been a harmless prank, but Jimmy kept asking if they were jealous of their mothers.
Wait till you find out how mad the daughters were.
If they...
I mean, guess because I probably watch more late night talk show hosts, that seems like it's not out of the ordinary, I guess. We'll see. Because I haven't seen their Jimmy Kimmel segments, interviews, or anything, so we'll see.
They smelled them to see if they smell like BTS.
And are you
What? Huh, what?
smelling her to see if they rubbed any BTS?
And kept mentioning
Okay.
how unlucky their daughters are compared to their mothers.
You're almost as lucky as your daughter is unlucky for not meeting them.
When he put them in that situation in the first place. And of course, the dumb jokes. First, he joked about ARMY being so excited that they will kill BTS if they go outside.
We were going to send the band outside to the audience, but at least 100 people would be killed if we did that, so...
I don't know how I feel about that joke. Because I feel like, and I hate to say it, I feel like there might be slight truth to that. I can't speak for any armies that are like outside of the U.S., but I know there have been multiple times that artists or even people who are with the artist have been injured because of reasons that he just said. Maybe that's why he was trying to make the joke, and if that's why, then that was probably more distasteful. But no, he's not. Unfortunately, he's not all the way off with that. I think I've even seen videos of Jungkook when he's in the airport, and like they'll let him get. It's like they will let him get in front of them, but as soon as he's in front of them, they're all just like running behind him, and that can be a very dangerous. That's a very, very dangerous situation.
Then he makes fun of their name by saying it sounds like BTO.
When I was a kid, we had BTO. It was a different thing.
And the disease,
Who's BTO?
IBS.
And it's nothing like IBS, right? It's a medical condition.
And then in 2021, he
Okay.
made a whole joke about how boy bands in general were like the coronavirus that mutates with time, and that BTS was the last and worst mutation.
And it popped up all over the world until eventually we get to one that's so contagious it destroys all life on Earth.
So weird.
What?
And I feel like the guys maybe
See, let's just go on to the next one. Because I honestly,
were
What was the
uncomfortable
point of
since
it?
2017 because they didn't go back to the show ever
like,
since.
come on, you
That's
should
for
know better.
Boy Scout in Korea.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
I'm no wiser.
Number 5 is Graham Norton from the UK.
I watched
BTS
this.
said that their experience there wasn't the best because Jungkook couldn't dance because of an
Yeah.
injury in his foot,
Stitches in my hair.
Yeah.
and Jimmy couldn't be there at all because he was sick.
We got seized up before the rehearsal, so
So they were down to 5. However, this is not Graham Norton's fault. He was actually not that bad, but he's number 5 because I didn't see much effort to connect with the members.
you can't beat Jimin today. He's got English. I'm scared.
No, Jimin!
The other celebrities went along with the jokes more than the host.
No Jimin for today. Does that mean you're looking for a new member?
Okay. Ooh. Y'all, hold on. My dog barking. Ooh, I'll be right back. All right, y'all. We're back. I think somebody was outside and she wasn't happy about that. But back to the video.
But he was okay.
Oh, wait, no, I know what I was going to say. I can't remember his name. It's like, I'm very much Jungkook right now. I know your face, but I don't know your name. If I'm not mistaken, this is the guy from 50 Shades of Grey. For some reason, I read somewhere that Jimin was like a really big fan of the movies or the books or something. And that Jimin would have basically freaked out if he got to actually meet him. Like, he was actually a really big fan of his. I could be wrong, though.
Host.
No Jimin for today. Does that mean you're looking for a new member?
But he was okay. He kept mentioning that he couldn't believe their impact,
I don't mean any disrespect, but there are people of a certain age who don't know BTS. So just in case you are thinking I'm making this up.
but was respectful in general. So that's that.
Please welcome BTS!
Here we go.
The first time BTS went to the James Corden show was in 2017, and here James said,
We absolutely love you at this show.
which is funny because that was the first time they were on the show, but whatever, what do I know? It was just a generic thing to say, I guess. At the show,
probably.
what I remember thinking was that James seemed very charismatic and nice, and I like how he started this tradition.
Subscribe this YouTube channel. And what else should they do? 이 유튜브 채널 많이 구독해주세요. 구독해주세요.
In this same episode, they played Flinch, and it was a
Oh
very...
my god. This segment right here, regardless of how I feel about James Corden, this segment right here was one of the funniest things I ever witnessed. This thing had me falling around laughing on the floor for at least 15 minutes.
game. I remember thinking that the way he laughed
J-Hope
was
down!
so
J-Hope
funny.
down!
And I like that he high-fived them. And if they said something, he would play along and continue with the interaction, even if they were accidentally interrupting him.
So, I gotta say, James, go on.
He always brought the attention back to them. They also sang DNA, and James tweeted about it in his personal account. There are no official videos from their participation in 2018, but they were only welcome and sang Fake Love. The 2020 episode was probably my favorite episode in this show. The introduction was just so funny.
Connecting the world. Oh, sorry, what's... Oh, really? Oh my God. Seriously? He's fine, he just feels under the weather. No, we can't just have 6 of them out here. No, they should just leave and we'll just... Thank you, okay. BTS are on the show today!
Here they were interviewed for the first time in this show. The guys were great as always, and James was okay. I like his questions about what they do when they forget a dance move, and their was pretty much the same. He recognized the support from armies, and in the end he accidentally interrupted Jimmy.
We love that, what a beautiful message. BTS are performing here.
But it's okay.
That was probably due to like producers. I know in award shows, like that whole thing when like Jin literally had to like move Jungkook off the stage. I know then it was because producers were going like, all right, hurry up, we gotta get to the next thing, hurry up. That's probably what that was. I don't think in this particular instance, I don't think James was trying to like interrupt Jimin, but it was just like producers were probably like, all right, like come on, gotta go.
He was nice to them. It looked like RM thanked him or said something nice to him because James hugged him. So this was definitely a nice interaction. I love the game of hide and seek with the guys and watch them catch it. When James said, I lost it. I also thought it was cute how he held their hands, and I also noticed that he kept calling Jimmy Jamin.
Jamin on the go! Jamin, you're there!
Even though he said Jimin correctly before. So
I think he knew that he was probably just a heat of the moment thing. And it was probably just a heat of the moment thing. I don't think he meant any harm to Jimin.
Sure, he just didn't know their names by then, but it's fine, I guess. Also, Ashton Kutcher was funnier than James, but that's just my opinion. Weeks after, they released the iconic Carpool Karaoke. This was one of the best segments BTS had in a late night show. James let them shine, was nice to them, and always wanted to include the 7 of them.
Do you know the Friends theme tune? Yeah, of course. Who else in the car? Hang on, who in the car knows the theme tune to Friends?
I like that even though he didn't know Korean, he will still sing the English parts of the songs. This
Child, that's what I have to do. So and let me know if y'all want me to react to this. Now, it would have to be on Patreon, of course, because not James Corden, but like the company is very, they would the video. But yeah, let me know if you want me to react to this over there on Patreon, because I would love to just like have a good time with Carpool Karaoke over there. So let me know.
Iconic that he even got the Papa Mochi nickname. There were the regular jokes that everyone makes.
I will quit this job in a heartbeat to join BTS.
He let them shine, and I like the dancing part. So in general, he was okay. Then during quarantine, the guys had a little 1-minute interview and performed Boy With Love. But there isn't much to say about James. Later that year, James interviews them about the Grammys and their album B. It was all going well until Jimmy asked, and he said,
"Are you kidding? I've had Dynamite on repeat in my car."
Jimmy noticed that he actually didn't, so he said, when you listen, you will know that the album is about the pandemic. But anyways, the last interaction was cute.
I mean, as far as that goes, I feel like James is, and myself included, we don't really know how to speak Korean. At least now, I can't speak for me, but he probably wouldn't know that amount of detail with it. At least I don't think. But then again, that's probably just, because that's probably just because he didn't really listen to all of it. But I'm trying here. I'm trying.
But only because it's Jimin. Then they perform Life Goes On and Dynamite from Korea. Before 2021, everything seemed okay in general. In my opinion, his praises and comments for BTS seem a little basic and superficial. However, in 2021, he made that dumb joke about BTS' speech and performance in the UN Assembly. What he said specifically was that world leaders had no choice but to take BTS seriously, and that it was a historic moment because 15-year-olds were wishing to be there, meaning that armies are all 15-year-old girls. Now, what some people don't understand is that we are actually extremely used to these kind of comments and jokes. When this happens, we usually say how boring and repetitive these jokes are and move on. But
now, I will say, when this situation first came out, I wasn't thinking in a full-blown perspective, I guess. I was talking to one of my friends at work who is also a huge BTS fan. They are part of the reason I'm in Army to begin. Well, no, not part. They're majority of the reason I'm in Army to begin with. I was thinking more so. I was thinking probably more so in terms of like myself, because I was thinking like, oh, like you're saying, like it's only 15-year-old girls and stuff, and I'm thinking, oh, whatever, like I'll take my 25-year-old self down there and I'll be listening to BTS anyway. And me and my friend were having a conversation, and they just said, like, well, think about it this way, like we're, as adults, we mainly know who we are, and some of us are still trying to figure it out. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out, but at the same time, there are 15-year-old girls or actual teenagers who would hear this and it might affect them more. And that's not okay. That part is not okay. James gets like 0.2% credit. And I say 0.2 because honestly, with them speaking at the UN, he's right. The officials really, y'all don't have another choice. They would, after they spoke at the UN, they were no longer this like boy band, like teeny bopper, whatever you wanted to call them beforehand, like whatever you would try to make jokes at them as. You did have to take them seriously. Like, no, these people know some stuff. And so he was right on that standpoint, but it's also, you do have to be mindful of what you say. But yeah, that's really how I feel about that. Like I said, James gets like 0.2% credit, but yeah.
But it was not like that with James Corden for a reason, and it's because he was.
I also forgot to bring up too, and I can see why people were probably more upset with James for making that joke because of the fact that he wasn't like the main person, I guess, interviewing BTS, but he came off as like a supporter of BTS. So when he made that joke, it kind of turned into like, oh, well, dang, we thought you really liked them. Like, but I guess not.
Was one of the few who actually treated the guys nicely. He kept repeating how he loves them, and he kept inviting them to his show. People excuse this joke by saying that a lot of people write these jokes, not only him. But I personally don't care. It's not about the joke. You can think it was.
Just because your producers wrote it don't mean you have to say it. Like, that was when, I think it was back when like 106 and Park was still around. And I have ice in my mouth, I'm sorry, y'all. Like when Karichi Train made that joke about Blue Ivy's hair and how it was, I'm gonna say unkempt, that's what I'm gonna say. it's the same thing. Like the producers, wrote the joke, but you didn't have to say it. You could have said something different. So that's not really a valid excuse.
Harmless. It's about how he, who happily accepted the crown for the nicest Army late show host, ruined this nice relationship with us because of this dumb joke. And maybe if he apologized, things wouldn't have gotten worse, but of course he didn't. A couple of months later, James interviewed them, and even though he tried to avoid it, RM ignored his initial basic question and called him out. And I just got to say, the panic in James' eyes is just exquisite. His voice trembles and his answer is just so bad. He doesn't apologize, he just laughs about it.
Such a relief to get away.
He, of course, makes it even worse by playing the victim.
Someone's just told me that they hope I die today.
Which is ridiculous because number one, this is the internet and everyone receives those comments by trolls. And number two, he doesn't address the real reason why.
I don't think he was trying to make himself the victim. I think that was probably more so him just making light of the situation. It's like, because I think RM started it off like, or it might have been after he said that, but I know RM was like, it's like, I heard you've been in some hot water with armies. Like, how's that going? And, you know, I feel like James was just kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, somebody told me I should die today. You know, no big deal. I feel like that's kind of what that was. But I do love how RM just kind of came in with the smoke in this interview. I love that. Like, you know, it's like, protect us, bro. We still got your back, but still, I like when I see that. I like when I just see RM go like full force on, well, not full force. That probably wasn't full force, but like, you know, he barked back. I'm gonna say it that way.
Armies are upset. He just keeps joking about it. RM accepted his non-apology to clear the air, even though James responds,
We appreciate your apology.
I also think it's very funny how he asks,
Am I still Papa Mochi? Baby Mochi, am I still Papa Mochi?
And nobody answered.
Who said
and he got nervous. The rest of the interview was okay, mainly because of BTS. Later, they performed PTD, and there was the weirdest auto-tune I have ever heard in a BTS performance. I don't want to say they did it on purpose, but it was definitely weird, especially when this has never happened in any other BTS performance.
I don't think it was auto-tune. I'll have to go back and watch that one, because I think that same week that they did PTD, they performed Butter, and to me, Butter sounded okay. It didn't sound, you know, it didn't sound off or anything. But I'll have to watch this. Wow, I'll have to watch this one again, because I'm not too sure if it was auto-tune or they did something like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they, you know what? No, let me not say that, because I don't want to throw that speculation out there. But I don't think it was auto-tune. I think there was, I'm going to say, a different force at play, just because I don't want to make an accusation like, oh, they did something to BTS, because that's a serious accusation. But it wasn't auto-tune. There was something else going on. I know their mixing levels weren't right. I do remember that, because I remember for some reason, like, Jimin, it was either Jimin not being as loud or V not being as loud, and then someone else was too loud. Like, the music in the back was fine, but it was like the members themselves, like their levels weren't mixed all the way together. So I don't know. But I'll have to take a look at that performance again.
In a positive note, weeks later, the concert in the crosswalk was released, and I loved it so much. I love how the language barrier was not an opportunity to put BTS in an uncomfortable position. Instead, they made James the butt of the joke by using that running joke about the guys making fun of James in Korean and him not understanding anything. James was funny, BTS was funny, everything is scripted, but still it was a nice interaction. And then the show aired the Butter performance, and again there was something weird with the audio. And if you say I should blame the production and not James, then you are right, but it still doesn't sit right with me, especially when they had weeks to fix it.
I guess I should watch that one again too. I thought Butter sounded okay. I'll have to take a look at that one again too. But the not carpool karaoke, the like crosswalk performance or crosswalk concert, just imagine like calling in late to work because it's like, hey, I can't, you know, I'm gonna be a little bit late. BTS is just performing in the middle of the street, you know. it's like, I mean, great excuse. Like, I would be out there taking video. I would be sending in proof. Like, just think about that. Like, hey, I can't come into work. BTS is in the middle of the street. I would love for that to happen to me though. you know.
In general, the guys seemed comfortable with James Corden, which is nice. They forgave him, and I always trust BTS first. But personally, after everything that happened, I don't trust or care about James Corden. At least not enough to call him Papa Mochi or whatever he wants to be called. Also, his damn show blocked my last video twice, so I don't like him for that.
I decided to take my remuneration in moments with BTS.
BTS never actually went to the Trevor Noah show because I believe the Daily Show is more about news and politics than pop culture. But they had a few interactions when Trevor Noah hosted the Grammys. He was nice in general. The jokes were usually about how big BTS is as a group, and some people found his joke about Squid Games repetitive. RM's response,
Y'all saw that reaction right there? That's how I felt watching the Grammys. Just look at his face.
repetitive. RM's response was,
Yep, that's about right. Cause
perfect.
What are we gonna do?
So I don't
that's exactly, and that's what he get too.
think it's that big of a deal. What gave me a
That's what he get because oh Jesus, you looking into my soul right now. No, it's not. That was a different. I would say that's probably more ignorance. In that case, that was definitely more ignorance. Because I know Squid Games was like a really big show at the time, but you picked it. I don't know. Do y'all remember that interview they did? Because I feel like that one was more wholesome, where one of the guys went like, he was like, "Annyeonghaseyo," and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I practiced that for you," and then Jimin just goes, "Hello, I practiced for you." Like that was okay, but this just like, why'd you pick them? Why them? Because I feel like if he had made the joke to anyone else, then it would have been a little bit different. But I don't. That I'm usually with Trevor Noah, but I can't get behind that one.
A good impression of Trevor Noah was his genuine comments after the Grammys in his own show. He said that BTS were so dedicated and talented,
They're so good and efficient at what they do.
and he made a joke about BTS being better than the boy bands in his day.
I was watching them, and I'm not even trying to throw shade or anything, but I was like, man, NSYNC, they got away with shit. Like, think of like the boy bands I grew up with, and it was just like, I'm like, damn, it's a...
And it was so refreshing to see BTS being part of a joke, but not the subject of the joke, for once. Compare this to Jimmy Kimmel's joke, for example. Both jokes were about boy bands, but Trevor Noah's joke was tasteful and, not racist.
We get to one that's so contagious it destroys all life on Earth.
As they're known by their nicknames, the cute one.
Oh, now I did see some of
the
this.
cute one. The cute one. The cute one. The cute one.
Of course, Jin is the cute one.
And, I'm sorry, a little help?
In 2019, the Stephen Colbert
I freaking loved. I loved how Stephen Colbert did this, and they're about to explain it on here too. Like basically, because I've heard a lot of interviews say like no one has been this famous or like this, like oh my gosh, like since the Beatles. So Stephen Colbert took it and he just recreated this first like American interview from the Beatles, but with BTS, and I love that he did that. I wish I could find like the full show, because I've seen like bits and pieces. Like I saw them do, I think it was Boy with Love. Is it Boy with Love? Yeah, you making me a boy with love. Yeah. I saw him do that. I saw them do that, and then I saw, I think, like the interview that it was like where it wasn't in black and white, but I didn't see everything else, and I would love to be able to like see the full episode of it.
The show invited BTS to recreate the historic moment when the Beatles made their US TV debut at the Ed Sullivan Show. Stephen Colbert acted like Ed Sullivan, and BTS resembled the Beatles. Apart from this sketch, they performed Boy With Love, had an interview, and performed Make It Right. During the interview, Stephen introduces them as his close personal friends.
Please welcome my close personal friends, BTS.
And then RM does this. In general, Steven seems
He's
more
so
respectful
cute.
and nice than funny, but he has some good moments. Then, in 2021, BTS made a hand gesture sketch and performed Butter. Even though the sketch was completely in English, and
I'm sorry.
made a hand gesture sketch and performed.
I looked at JK's hand wrong for like 2 seconds. Why does it look like he flipping this off? I know that's not what he do. I think he's doing like this or something. Like that. I think he's doing that. But it look like JK flipped this off for a second.
Butter. Even though the sketch was completely in English, and I prefer the sketches where they can
Beware the
comfortably
double
talk
bunny.
in Korean, it was not bad at all. Steven and BTS did not have any direct interaction, but Steven's introduction did not include any bad jokes, and that is the main reason why he's so high in this list. He hasn't said anything wrong. He's always been respectful, and he gave them the
know who number
opportunity
one
to
is.
have a very nice
And it's a
sketch in
well-deserved
2019.
spot.
I really want the guys to be back in this show in person. Number 1 is Jimmy Fallon. In 2018, BTS were invited to the Tonight Show starring Jimmy
Well-deserved.
Fallon. Here, they sang Idol and I'm Fine and were interviewed. During the interview, Jimmy was wearing the Jimmy headbands and an army bomb ring and joked about not picking favorites.
Not picking favorites. I'm not picking favorites.
But still choosing Jimmy. It was funny and cute, and it looked like the guys were very comfortable talking.
I want to say this too. I feel like this was the only interview where Yoongi was just like cracking, or not only interview, but like Jimmy was the only person that I guess Yoongi felt comfortable around. And so because Yoongi was like, you can see here, he was like full on like smiling ear to ear, like stomping his feet on the ground. You can tell that I don't know. Jimmy's one of my favorites too. But I feel like he was the only person that just made Yoongi feel like relaxed and comfortable.
Talking to him. They also had a segment where they danced
look at that.
Fortnite dances, which was one of the smartest decisions in these shows, because it would have been a little difficult for them to have a whole acting sketch in English, so a dancing challenge was easier for them because they are dancers. In 2020, BTS were invited to a special New York episode. First, they were interviewed in the New York City subway. I like that Jimmy's questions here were deeper than in other regular late night shows, and I like that he always had something to say about their answers. He continued the conversation at all times, even helping them with their answers.
And then I thought,
What do you think of him?
he was amazing.
Unlike other interviews, Jimmy seemed genuinely interested and nice. They also had the Subway Olympics where they play a bunch of silly games, and we got so many epic moments. Then they went to an iconic restaurant called Kat's Deli, where they ate some sandwiches and then served these sandwiches. My favorite part was when the guys couldn't believe the size of the sandwiches and were asking for veggies.
But no veggies?
No veggies. No, are you kidding me? No.
Finally, the boys performed the best performance the show has ever seen. During quarantine, there was the BTS
I gotta check on my dog one more time, y'all.
week, where the guys performed the 5 days of the week and were interviewed about performing at the Grammys, Dynamite getting.
Also, I did react to BTS Week. One video did get moved to Patreon because it got, blocked. But I will leave that playlist up somewhere here. I did react to BTS Week though.
And then their first number 1, their 7th anniversary, Quarantine, their movie Break the Silence, the album B, their New York special, their charity work, their high school experience, and advice for young people pursuing an artistic career. As
These were always
always,
some of my
Jimmy
favorite
seemed
interviews.
genuinely interested and gave meaningful compliments.
These guys are working hard. It was so impressive from working with you and seeing you work. You have great work ethic. You really are professional, but you're also very funny. You have a great sense of humor, and please don't ever lose that.
They also played the Dance Your Feelings game, and Jimmy definitely matched their energy.
He sure did.
Jimmy! We know it's Jimmy!
And then they played the
looks so
Song Olympics,
defeated.
and this was my favorite game. In 2021, they were interviewed once again. They talked about Butter, they recreated the A from the music video, they also talked about Permission to Dance, their debut, and my favorite part was the rumors segment. As always, Jimmy has innovative questions, he lets them talk and matches their energy, and of course, he jokes a lot. But his jokes are respectful and harmless. Then, they perform PTD and Butter, and days later, they play another game called Will It Fit? Judging him only by these interactions, Jimmy seems like a charismatic and kind-hearted guy. He puts his guests first and doesn't interrupt them to say dumb jokes. He's the only one who has interviewed them for more than 5 minutes and has asked them more complex questions.
I will say Jimmy is also the only one who, I think Jimmy's the only one that they like individually went back on the show too, because Suga and Jimin both went back to promote their solo albums, and I think Jimmy's the only talk show host where they have felt comfortable to do that. So he's definitely number one.
There's a ton of reasons why BTS always comes back to his show, and the main reason one is because they are comfortable. I don't think Jimmy has ever said any kind of dumb jokes about the guys, and I hope they are back to his show soon.
Good job, Jimmy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Alright, y'all, so that will be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about it, but please do not forget to like and subscribe, and we will try to be as updated as we can, or like uploading and stuff like that. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye guys. So